So The Weeknd had released a fantastic brand new song called Double Fantasy, and I absolutely loved it, but I thought it was a bit slow and I really wanted to speed it up. And as a producer, I can do that. I thought, why not have a go? So let's take a listen to what I come up with, and then I'm going to show you guys how I did it. It's just such a fantastic song. So let's start with the actual audio of the song. The song itself, when I actually brought the audio in, I discovered the BPM, and now I've made a video on how to work out what the BPM is and how to sync the song, and I think it's pinned in one of my favorites, so if you want to have a look at that, go ahead. But there are loads of different ways to find out the BPM. As you can see, the original BPM here is 119, but I sped it up to 129 because I really wanted it to be faster. If we just listen to the song by itself, it's kind of airy and there's not a lot of drums in it. Actually, it's perfect for remixing because there's not a lot of percussion going on in there. So what I did next was I placed basically a sample loop. This comes from Splice, and so let's just take a listen to how it sounds now with the drums. And actually on the audio, what I also did is I put a kickstart in there. So you've got a bit of ducking going on. I put a Pro EQ 3 in there just to get rid of some of that low end because we're going to have a bass coming in as well. Then I put in 2 different bass tracks. So we'll just listen to the first bass track. And this was just simply something I played with my fingers on my Akai MPK. So I'm just using a Repro synth. I start with the Funk Unison bass preset, but I am tweaking the features of that. And then there is also another more deeper, lower frequency going on, and this does have a kickstart on there, so there's a bit of ducking going on. There's also ducking going on the other bass track, and I put an RC retro in there with a bass torque preset, but not too much, just a little bit of magnitude. So if we just listen to those 4 tracks together, and now bring a lot of magic there just from the original song. Put in a clap track, and that's panned a bit to the right. And there's also a bit of claps going on here as well, and that is panned a bit to the right, so there's a bit of an offset. Now, so if you go to the master section here, I put in another retro RC20, but I put a magnitude transition. It's a really cool little transition preset. If we just have a look at the automation here, you can see that the magnitude is right at the top. So right at the beginning of the song, you've got kind of this thin sort of sound. And then once you get closer to the drop, it'll contrast. And what I also did was I did some repeats here, so I've got a bit of a drum loop coming in. And that's it. There's not a lot of tracks going on, and I just made the song sound the way I wanted it to sound. If you guys want to hear more of it, there I think is a YouTube link in my profile. Other than that, if you've got any questions about this, please go ahead and ask. Thank you very much for listening to this far.